That's the mysteries of our being able to create things.
That explains the idea of my evil birthday.
If you get a lot of fears and a lot of lies out of the way and a lot of superstitions, Friday the 13th, and all this other horse shit out of your life, you can start to create not only the world that you want, and that's really what's most important, but you'll find others coming into your world with the same awareness who will also agree with you that all we have to do is just be happy. And the only way you can be truly happy about this divine experience is to remember you were chose, and you chose to be here and to be part of a creative process. So the first fear to get out of the way, other than is the world going to switch the poles? Is it going to get knocked off tilt? Is there going to be earthquakes because of the great alignment? This is a grand and glorious event. Now, a lot of people...
So we're not going to die?
No.
Yay.
No. And why? Because we were never born. But that's another esoteric aspect we'll get to later.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as death. Life is just a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. The only problem is someone kidnapped our imagination. It's time to take that spirit back and be happy with your existence here. Don't let the models in the impulsive section of the checkout line sway your consciousness into thinking you are anything less than divine. It's those who believe that this is the end of their road. Those that sit at the top of the ivory towers that believe, once this is over, all this goes away from me. The yachts, the planes. There are other avenues, though, that they take to ensure that they reincarnate back into bloodline.
Teddy Roosevelt,
to be a Roosevelt. Well, speaking of bloodlines, there's only one presidential bloodline.
This is true.
Look that up.
I will try to put a link in the sidebar, but no guarantees on that one. That's
the Weekly Genealogical Historical Society will show you that bloodline. David Icke has access to it on his website. Burke's Peerage, they talk about the bloodline in regards to the president and being related to the Queen and going all the way back to, according to Dan Brown, who might be a tool in more ways than one. He says in Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code that the Queen of England, if you did your own studies into this even further than what they assert, you'll see that that bloodline allegedly goes to the Queen of England. But her great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the King of England, King George III. And his cousin was a guy named George Washington. They got a red, white, and blue flag. We got a red, white, and blue flag. The song Long Live to the Queen is the song Hail to the Chief. Did we ever actually secede from them?
Or are we one with them?
Or are we just a tool ourselves over here in this country to create this Baconian vision of the future? Who was obviously an alchemist himself, or an interdimensional being. Tesla, one of the greatest geniuses in written history that we know of.
My own personal
said
hero.
He was helped by extraterrestrial help. Now, extraterrestrial meaning extra than Earth, other than alien too? No, he didn't say alien. He said extraterrestrial. That could be angels.
That could be spirits.
That could be aliens, as we call them. Aliens could be angels. Aliens could be spirits. Some people say
alien is a very vague term.
Very vague. We have 220 plus alien genes in our body, and the dry weight of our brain is 3 to 5% iridium, which doesn't even come from planet Earth. It comes from the stars. So we ourselves are star seeds. And we've been here a long time. According to some esoteric researchers, anywhere between 20 to 25,000 lifetimes.
25,000?
In these Earth ages. And not always as a human. You cannot always determine.
That's right.
Your path.
There are some people that are claimed to come back as
animals,
insects,
dogs,
animals,
insects, absolutely.
Fish.
We need to know that we are at one with this whole experience.
And we are.
We are. But they keep us separate by saying there's a Chinese race, a black race, a white race.
But one could argue with that one, how is it that there are so many more people on the Earth now?
That's right. Why do you think they're all here?
They're all coming in.
We all have karma here. And we all need to assure that we're going to go on this ascensive path towards the enlightenment of all of us. So that when we enter this age, if you want to see how this could end, go watch The Twin Towers, the film by Tolkien.
Tolkien?
What's the one?
J.R. Tolkien?
Yeah. What's the one he calls The Twin Towers? The Two
The
Towers.
Two Towers?
Thank you. Getting to the Twin Towers was on my mind.
It's okay.
It's okay. But that shows you the end of the matriarchal age and what happened before we headed into another age. And there were various other creatures walking the planet. When you get into the Anunnaki aspect and you start seeing that they were funneling with our DNA, they blended their DNA and our DNA and created who we are now. Half reptile, half mammal, skin.
You can actually look at your skin, folks, and see scales.
But you can also look at your blood at a 400 times magnification, and you'll start to see sparkling, shiny flakes of gold in there. And that you'll understand when you understand alchemy.
Which we'll have to get into in another video. That's a long
study. But I'm going to shorten it up as much as possible.
Okay, this was basically just an intro video anyway. I mean, we're not going to go into anything deep, but we're just getting everyone an intro as to what knowledge you have. And I think
what I want to share with the generation that follows mine. We owe it to you. And if I'm like one voice that can bring some sort of reason to this experience, why this is all going on, and some advice as to how to change some things. First of all, you start right here. Charity begins at the home. Charity is where we get the word chariot, which means it's a vehicle. It's where we get the word car. This vehicle, all charity, should begin with this vehicle right here, at home. I'll close it by saying what Lao Tzu said. Some people say my teachings are nonsense. Others call them lofty but impractical. I say to those who look within inside themselves, these teachings that are nonsense make perfect sense, and this loftiness has roots that go deep when you put it into practice. So he says, I have three things to teach: simplicity, patience, and compassion. Simple in action and in thoughts, and you return to the source of being. Compassion towards all others, and you will basically be understanding more about yourself. So when you understand your own story, you'll understand everyone else's story. And the compassion towards yourself, or the patience with others, allows you to reconcile with them and accord with the way things are. And it allows you to also reconcile and add more compassion to your own experience. So the first thing you need to do is be compassionate and understand with yourself, and know this. It's not your fault if you're not healthy. It's not your fault that the world is getting back to a regular rotation and it's warming up. Hey, I would rather have to take my clothes off than put a whole bunch of them on. I honestly would like to get back to the natural way of things.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one.
See, so where they're guiding us in fashion, we don't need clothes. Where they're guiding us down into the food store with all the slow-mo commercials with the dripping gravy, we don't need food.
We don't need
I'm not
meat,
saying
that's for
you
sure.
can't just jump off the gravy train now. But when you get to a point like a breatharian can, you can pull yourself off of that merry-go-round.
I'm going to look into breatharians because I've never heard about them before.
Look into a lot of things that I described.
And I'll try to have a link in the sidebar about them.
Authors like Bear T. Spalding, Drunvalo Melchizedek, Michael Tessarian, David Icke. Just know that at some point I'm going to talk about my experience with the reptilians and implants and UFOs, and I'll give you my twist on it, which is pretty unique. I haven't seen anybody else kind of put this forth yet. David Icke talks about a lot of things, but I personally, you've seen me change form. I personally,
it was very interesting, folks.
I have seen others change form. So I know that it's true, but what are we? We are 99.9% empty space. And when the frequency bleeds through, me claiming I have somewhat of an angelic nature, I have a deeper understanding of some of these aspects of what's going on down in here. Remember this about the angels. They don't care about your drama. All they care about is either you're in the flesh or you're out of the flesh. They're there to guide you, not to stop you from being abused, not to stop you from going to war and killing people. These are all personal choices. And your choices create consequences that are specific to you. And the universe is so divine and so loving, it allows you to perpetrate these things. Whether it be out of ignorance, or out of this ignorance that turns into this thing called devotion to a flag or a country country, we all live on planet Earth.
That's why
I'm
I'm not exactly the most
I don't
patriotic
see
person
the
in the world.
county line running through my backyard. What I do see a lot of is fences. And it's not the bars that keep you in prison, it's the space in between. It's the fact that you can see under the other side, yet you have no access to it. It's the same thing with your divinity. You've been imprisoned from it. And hopefully, by the time you and I get finished with as many of these things as we're going to do, people are going to be at a better level of understanding of who they are and also at peace with the way things are.
I think we've very
Blessings to you all.
And blessings to you all as well. This is Duragon and my good friend